Hi friend, David here from Learn Stage Lighting, and today we're taking a deeper dive into the Martin Mac 1. This is a new fixture from Martin, so let's talk about using it for Frontlight? Yes, let's dive in. Okay, so it's no secret that, probably 90% of the photos of the Mac 1 that you're going to see out there, the videos, the trade show, glances, stuff like that, you're going to see these really cool beamy looks through the air. You're going to see cool stuff on the lens like this, and you're like, okay, this is an awesome, cool effects light, and it is. However, you might notice the lighting on me is a little bit different right here. I've actually got it coming at a low angle, see a little shadow there, as my front light. That's right, because one of the things that intrigued me about the Mac 1 when it came out was the really high color quality scores that they were posting for it. Now, if you're new to this, a lot of people use CRI, or the color rendering index, as an indicator of color quality. Really, when you're talking about LEDs, CRI is not a great measurement, but it's easy for people to understand. That being said, overall, across all different scores, CLI, TCLI, the other one's escaping me, across the major scores, this fixture does really well. And I hope you can see that on video here. So I want to talk through and talk about some experimentation we used, some light meter research we used. This is about $1,500, $2,000 color meter, okay? And talk about what I found photometrically, how this works as a front light. Because ultimately, if you're investing in these Mac 1s, and if you are, come over to ABOVE AVL Learn Stage Lighting Gear. We would love to get them for you. You think of it as, okay, this cool effects beamy light, this narrow beam light with this cool lens stuff, and it absolutely is all of that. But it's not a one-trick pony. Okay, the fixture it came from, the Mac 101, was a one-trick pony, right? It had a super narrow beam, but at the time it came out, it was pretty extraordinary because it was a narrow LED wash that could move very, very fast and was fairly inexpensive. And those things, people are still running them today. But the Mac 1, as opposed to the 101, I better say that right, has the ability, the fact that it has a really high color quality, and just the way they lay out some things for you make it really, really great for a front light in some smaller spaces, so it can do multiple things. It's not just a cool, fun effects light. So that's a great way to get your boss to buy them. So what did we find? Well, as you can see right now, I'm being lit from the front. The angle's not as high as I would like, but overall, it's a pretty nice, semi-soft light source. I have the soft lens on it, which comes with it, of course, for front lighting. And we've dialed it in. I think I dialed it in manually, but it's sitting at 6500K right now, which is what my video lights typically sit at here in the studio. In terms of color temperature control, you've got great color quality across the whole range. So if I take that wheel here and I warm it up, you'll see it warm up here on camera. As we go down, all the way down to 2000K, which you're not going to use during an event, I hope. But you might use something like 3200K or 3500K, okay? And you can see, hopefully you can see, I admit, color quality is a thing that's easier to see in person than on camera. But as you can see, the brightness from, a full 6500K, there we go, our 6500K back to where we were much warmer before is really quite uniform. The color quality at either space is good, and you can see we've kept our camera in manual exposure this whole time, and except for that second where I grabbed the intensity control and moved it, it stayed at about the same intensity level. So the one thing that did concern me when I first got the Mac 1s and was looking at the specs when we first saw them at a trade show was, okay, it's like a 3, I think, to 27 degree lens throw. And it's, not a ton of wattage and not a ton of brightness, right? And so when you have a small fixture like that and you think of using it as a wash light, you think, okay, this is going to be something at fairly close distances with pretty wide lens angles, except it's only 27 degree angle. So that's where I really wanted to take some measurements, experiment with it, so that I could share with you how it works, so that if you're looking for this as a multifunctional tool, you now know and you learned it from us. So come buy the fixture from us. What I found was if I take it to about 4,500K, because a lot of stages are warmer than I am here, you know, even though I said brightness is pretty uniform. On cheaper fixtures, when you go down in color temperature, you lose a lot of brightness. On the Mac one, you really don't. So we take it and we put it to 4,500K, and then I looked at narrow, medium, and wide zoom. So 3 zoom positions on the light: narrow, medium, and wide. And I looked at then some different brightness at different distances. And here's what I found were real winners. Obviously, at 27 degrees, when you get closer than about 15 feet, it's pretty much too narrow of a spot for most Frontlight applications, right? You could use it though, from those kinds of distances, narrow, as a really tight spot on a band member. But I want to evaluate it today more as a stage wash type fixture. And so what I found is that the widest zoom, the sweet spot for the Mac 1, is about 15 feet. Okay, so at that 15-foot level, looking at my chart here, I was able to get 67-foot candles at 4,500K, which I consider a really great level for a typical event in a room that size. Honestly, that's probably more than you would need. And the circle of light is about 7.29 feet by calculation. It is a very nice soft edge, so it's a little bit more forgiving than that number would probably let you believe. It's going to be a little wider feeling overall. With a medium level of zoom, that's the zoom range in the center, which, you know, is somewhere around, I didn't write it down, but, you know, right in the middle of the zoom range, I found that at about 20 feet, I could get 78-foot candles and about an 8-foot circle of light. So similar size light as we just talked about with the wide lens, 5 more feet back, and about 80-foot candles, which I was taught as the standard for kind of a broadcast light level, though today it's way different. Many broadcasts are much lower. But regardless, that gives you an idea of what you can get. When you start to get above, I'd say 15, 20, 25 feet, you really want to sit down and do the math, maybe get a test fixture out before you go put it on an event. But I think it goes to show you that the Mac 1 can be a really versatile fixture. Yes, it can do the cool, flashy effects stuff, but it can also do a really great job at just being a front light or a side light fixture even for people. I think you might be surprised on a lot of smaller events how this effects light that you can use on your biggest event in huge banks can be a great small, low truck space type fixture that is very quiet, is very efficient, and easy to use, and it could be a really good fit. Is it for everyone? Of course not, but if you're looking for Frontlight, Above AVL by Learn Stage Lighting Gear, or Learn Stage Lighting Gear by Above AVL as we transition to our different name, is the place. If you liked the advice you got here, that's exactly the advice myself and our other sales folks make. We're, though I use the term sales folks, we all have technician backgrounds. Why? Because our goal is to help you find the best light and get it into your hands. So whether the Mac 1 is the right choice for your front light or something else, head over to Learn Stage Lighting Gear by Above AVL. Feel free to add things to your cart, request a quote, or just go ahead and fill out the contact page. It's under resources. You can check out the link below as well. If you haven't already, check out our Mac 1 review and check out our following video after this, which will be all about those fun backlight effects you can make. We'll see you there. Thanks.